Timesheets for hospice are especially critical because on top of time and mileage entry, we need to match up our times with our clinical visits. Hi, Stephen the hospice nurse here again. We finished a long day of patient visits and now I'm about to head home to call it a day. But before I do, I want to show you how easy and simple it is to enter our timesheet for the day in the Hospice Tools Timekeeper mobile app. Because Hospice Tools Timekeeper is seamlessly integrated with our clinical software, eDocs, matching clinical visits and times is done automatically, which is huge for compliance and QA and makes this task super simple. Let's log into the Timekeeper mobile app. We see our dashboard, which gives us the number of days left in the pay period, the amount of PTO we have available, and also the amount of hours that we've entered for the current pay period. It's really great to have all this information available. We can enter the timesheet through the buttons on the dashboard, or we can enter through the menu bar drop-down. We click on Time Entry and our calendar pops up, and we can choose the timesheet for a specific day. We'll click on October 1st. And because we've already entered all our notes in our clinical software eDocs, all we have to do now is click the button Auto Build. Auto Build pulls up all of the documents of the clinical visit times and phone call times that have been entered into eDocs and automatically populates our timesheet. We see that we have 4 different clinical documents for the day. These are the clinical docs that we entered in the patient's charts and are now automatically linked in our timesheet. Now all we have to do is fill in the gaps for all the non-clinical items. We started the day with travel. From 8 to 8:30, we traveled to an in-service. The in-service lasted from 8:30 until 11. We can select the activity from the drop-down menu and save the entry. Then from the in-service, we traveled to our patient visit, which went from 11 to 11:30. We selected the travel activity, we can put in our mileage, and we click Save. We already have our patient visit with Betty Rogers in there, and it's linked to the clinical documentation. From Betty, we went and visited Daniel Lee. And we can see that everything is totally editable. All we have to do is put in our travel between the visits, from 12:30 to 1 p.m. Select Travel and enter our reimbursable mileage. Click Save, and it's in. After our visit with Daniel Lee, we had a patient phone call with our patient, Derek. And when we finished our call, we traveled to visit with our patient, Samantha. We'll go ahead and put in our travel time to Samantha. We traveled from 2:45 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Select Travel, enter our mileage, and you see there is a comment box as well if we want to add any additional notes. Samantha was our last clinical visit for the day, but then we traveled back to the office. We'll enter that travel. And then back at the office, we spent some time completing our documentation. We worked on our documentation for 15 minutes. And we clicked Save. But we made an error. We marked it as 5:15 a.m. instead of p.m. So we can go right back in by clicking Edit, fix the entry, and click Save again. Now our timesheet is almost complete for the day. We'll simply review, make sure there are no errors, and then confirm the time entries by clicking the checkbox at the top. And we see that all our entries have now been marked verified. If we click the calendar on top, we see the calendar screen shows that we entered 8.75 hours on Monday, October 1st, and our timesheet for the day is complete. We'll click Home, and we see everything immediately reflected in our dashboard. The Hospice Tools Timekeeper mobile app means wherever and whenever, time entry for hospice and matching clinical visits to times is super simple. Hospice Tools, how hospice happens.